All right, everybody, welcome to another wonderful Wednesday here on the Blind View. My favorite month, October, Halloween, yay! And here's your host, Miss Rebecca Meadows.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. I hope everybody is doing well on this Wednesday evening. I do not have a headphone or mic with me tonight, so I hope everybody can hear me well, and I'm going to be kind of leaning in so I can hear people. And so far we just have Anya with us, but Brandon and Lori will hopefully be joining us. How are you, Anya?
I'm doing great. Like Gino said, it's a wonderful Wednesday and a great month of October. I'm looking forward to the holiday season right around the corner, so it's very exciting.
Hi there.
Oh, hi, Lori.
Hi there.
Yeah.
I couldn't get in at first.
Yep. So, okay. Yeah, well, now we're live, Lori, so we're on the air, so now we're talking.
Yes.
So a couple of things I wanted to bring up was I wanted to bring up the great developments that the final hostages have been released from Hamas.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a pretty good thing, isn't
That's
it?
very good.
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Hey, Brandon, welcome
Yes.
aboard.
Okay, good.
Okay. And does anybody else have stuff they want to talk about? Or do we want to talk about?
Oh, I mean, you lead the way, and
Yeah, I also wanted to talk about this government shutdown that the Democrats have forced us into.
Yeah, it's
Me
been
too.
on for
I have
3
a
weeks.
question that I want to get y'all's perspective on about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, do we want to just start there, Brandon? Is it something having to do with the shutdown?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your issue?
Oh, no issue. But like I just think, and I called him out pretty hard for it today because my son came home and presented a very one-sided vantage point today, and he came home and he was like, "Yo, Dad, there's a lot of people mad right now because they're discontinuing food stamps." And I said, "Wait a second." I was like, "Okay, listen. The way you
Can anybody else hear Brandon? I'm having trouble
Brandon,
hearing.
I'm having trouble.
extremely one-sided and probably not all that."
Brandon, there's something wrong with your
Brandon, there's something wrong with your connection. We're not hearing much of what you're saying. Can you start over? Oh my goodness.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Oh, now you're coming through. Because
Now you're coming in great.
all I heard was that
You-
your son came home and presented one point, and then you're going to start cutting in and out.
Yes, that's what I heard too.
We couldn't understand anything else.
Yeah, so the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain, and I know that sounds a bit insane. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
I can
Yeah,
because that
barely
was a
hear
little-
you. I'm so sorry.
Am I quiet?
Well, my headphones aren't working, Brandon, so you just go ahead and say your piece because I'm probably the only one who can't hear you.
Well, so yeah, my point is that in summation, basically my son came home and he was like, "Yo, Dad, there's a lot of people mad because they're gonna shut down the food stamp program." And I'm like, "Okay, wait a second. I'm sure they're not going to do it today, October 15th, and that sounds very one-sided and not all that well informed."
Mm-hmm.
So,
Public education, ding, 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 ding.
Right. But you see where I called him out on it, though. And I'm like, okay. But, I do recognize that is an important program for a lot of people. And though I am typically a bit of a new town, I don't know all of the particulars. Have you guys heard anything about that?
I don't know. I had heard just that the government because of the government shutdown, that some of our military personnel wasn't going to get paid. But then I heard that President Trump was taking steps to make sure our military personnel would be taken care of. And otherwise, I haven't really heard anything else about it, I don't think.
Yeah, I know that it made
I
Democrats.
haven't either.
Yeah, I know the Democrats are totally up in arms about it, but what else is new? The Democrats are always complaining about something.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, I mean, it's such a big farce. I mean, once Schumer gets his head out of his ass, then, you know, things can start moving along. Just, I mean, it's true, isn't it? I mean,
Well, they're calling it the Schumer shutdown for a reason.
That's what I call it. That is what I call it. The Schumer shutdown. We are sitting through the Schumer shutdown.
So how do you guys feel about the justice that is coming to Jack Smith and what was the lady in New York that was out to get Letitia James? How do you guys feel about that? I feel very good about it, and I don't feel like President Trump is just going after his enemies, right? Honestly, I feel like he's going after people who went after the United States of America.
I mean, in her particular case with this chick, Letitia, you know, it's so hypocritical, hypocrisy at its best, you know. I mean, it's so ironic, too, you know, she was charging Trump for supposedly, you know, some fraud with the bank, even though the bank said that he paid everything back and, you know, they had no problem with it. No, they still concocted this supposed crime and went after him like mad. And now we are learning that she did even worse what Trump did. You know, she lied.
Well, Trump didn't do it. What happened was, as usual, the Democrats went after a leading Republican, accusing him of doing exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, typical gaslighting case. You know?
And you know, I think it's so ironic that exactly what you guys are saying, like, it sounds crazy to say that whatever they accuse, even the moderate right of doing, is exactly what they themselves are doing. That's so crazy how it does seem to look exactly like that. Except that in the case of Letitia James, we know it's pretty clear. There's evidence that she committed mortgage fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to go anywhere.
But like you said, you see how that's at like direct variance with what they tried to say Trump did. And even the bank that worked with Trump said, I don't know what you guys are going on about. Like, as far as we're concerned, everything's fine.
Yeah, no party was deceived. Everyone is happy with each other. Like, what the hell? Well, we know what the hell. We know very well. They were doing everything in their power and beyond to prevent Trump from running. It was the biggest fear they had. And on the way, like during the process, they exposed themselves for who they are even more.
Well, but what I'm saying though is I can understand where people say, I don't agree with him, but people say, you know, oh yeah, it looks like Trump is just going after his political enemies. But the difference is, I think, like, because okay, in the Letitia James case, that does involve fraud, and she tried to say that Donald Trump committed fraudulent activity. So the topic of fraud is being discussed in both cases. However, there's evidence in one and seemingly no evidence in the other.
I mean, you know, I just had a thought. If they wanted to go after Trump so bad and concoct all those ridiculous cases, at least they could have picked somebody to be in charge of those cases who have clean record. You know, because it looks really, really bad. You know, the prosecutor herself is in deep crap right now. It's just so great.
Well, and remember Fannie Willis down in Georgia? She doesn't look very good either. It's like, oh, Fannie. I
remember them.
Yeah, it's interesting what's happening. I mean, I'm really hopeful that Trump will do something in terms of Russia-Ukraine war. I mean, he was able to start resolving this Middle East conflict, so I'm hopeful. I heard that Trump and Zelensky is supposed to be meeting on Friday So I hope they will come to some kind of agreement.
Well, hold on, because I want to go there in a minute, Anya. But I want to mention something to you guys that's taking place here on the homeland. But then, because I heard something today about Russia, which seems kind of crazy. But did you guys hear about the founder of My Pillow, Mike Lindell? Like, apparently now legally, a lot of these judges are doing what they call default. They're defaulting to judgment, where basically, and this is basically because I'm not an attorney or a judge or anything, but they're basically saying, well, you're guilty because I say you're guilty, so now you guys as the jury just need to determine how guilty and what the punishment is. But the problem is that the people don't even get to defend themselves. You remember, like Donald Trump, he couldn't even say anything.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So what's going on with Mike Lindell though, Brandon? What are they doing?
That same thing. That same thing. A judge.
They're not allowing him. They're not telling him what they're charging him with, or
right. Yeah, they call it default. I think default to judgment or default to something. And it's basically where just the judge just says, "Well, no, you're guilty," and then so the other person, the defendant says, "No, I'm not guilty. What you can't just say I'm guilty and that makes me guilty. No."
Right.
And the judge is like, "Yep, you're guilty. Yep. We're going to go right to sentencing now.
What about the presumption of innocence?
I know, right?
Now, in what cases is this being done then, Brandon? It's not being done in all cases, is it?
No, not all, but it's a disturbing trend. Like, they did it to President Trump. He wasn't allowed to speak in the courtroom.
They call it gag order, remember?
Right. That's what I'm saying. But he couldn't even defend himself. And now they're doing it with Mike Lindell, and now this next guy I'm about to say is more controversial, but they're doing it with Alex Jones. They're starting to do this with more and more people. It's like, oh, that's kind of chilling.
Hey, did you guys hear about a car accident that Alec Baldwin had recently? I saw something about it on the news, but I didn't hear much.
I didn't either.
I think it was in the Bahamas where he hit a tree or something.
No,
wow, I hope he's okay.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I just saw a little blurb on it. Like, I think it was yesterday on the news, and I never heard any more about it.
No, I don't know. I mean, I do follow news, but not like, if you want to know about everything what's happening, you have to read news like 24/7. There's always
That's true.
Yeah.
There's always. I heard today that there was near crash when Big Seth, like the Secretary of Defense, his plane almost crashed. There was some.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was some emergency.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think it's malfeasance. I think it's just.
You think it was sabotage?
I don't know. I cannot.
Might have been those Democrats.
No, I heard there was a crack in the window, and the plane was losing pressure rapidly. Wow. So the plane was diverted to like redirected to a different location. I just briefly saw it, but most importantly, what I focused on was like they are okay. So okay, that's all that matters.
Well, and talking about planes and kind of what you were mentioning a second ago, Anya, I guess just today, Britain and in particular London is really worried that Russia is going to start, invading the skies of London. So I don't know, but then you mentioned that Trump, I guess, is scheduled to meet with Vladimir Zelensky on Friday. See, but I think that kind of is the crux of the issue, though, right? Because I think Russia is. I mean, I can kind of understand Russia, right? Because so Russia is worried about Trump giving NATO, or in this case specifically Zelensky, Tomahawk missiles, right? Because didn't he say something lately like, if you give Zelensky Tomahawk missiles, and it's because I think Russia feels kind of outnumbered. I mean, I don't know, they're allies with China, But I don't think China is.
But didn't Russia start this fight?
No. Okay. I mean, it looks like they did.
Yeah, but Russia was basically forced.
No, you say no.
I said Russia was forced into it.
Russia was the person that, or the country that started the Ukraine war.
Well, if you look on the surface, but if one uses their internet and brain and starts researching and understands things how it all started, Russia had said repeatedly that we've talked about this before, that Russia had said repeatedly we don't want any NATO in Ukraine because they share the longest, like the biggest border. And U.S., they orchestrated the revolution in Ukraine, overthrew the duly elected president in 2013. I mean, U.S. has interfered in Ukraine so much, and Russia was not happy about it. So
and apparently they're still not.
Well, of course,
evidently they're not happy.
Yeah. So if somebody says, "Oh, Russia started the war," obviously they don't know the situation much at all, because there's a lot of background to it that led up to it.
But why would they frighten Londoners like that, though? Why would they? I don't know why.
I didn't hear that, but if it comes from London, I mean, I don't believe anything that comes from London or from any government. I mean, they're just fear mongers. They keep saying, "Oh, Russia's going to invade. Russia's going to go to Poland and whatever, Germany, like blah blah blah." Russia never said they were going to invade any other countries. They weren't even going to invade Ukraine if they could help it. But brilliant Kamala said, "Okay, good job, Zelensky. We're gonna consider taking Ukraine to NATO and blah blah blah." And Russia said, "Whoa, we told you, chill out. We're not going to tolerate that." I mean, U.S. would never tolerate if Russia puts its military in Mexico, for example. Missiles and all that stuff. No, we would not tolerate that. So why should Russia?
Yeah, but here's my problem with Russia being upset about Ukraine becoming a NATO member. The only reason Russia doesn't want Ukraine to become a NATO member is because Russia wants to be able to bully Ukraine.
That's silly.
Yes.
That's what I think.
And Russia wasn't allowed.
Doesn't want UN there is because he wants to be able to bully Ukraine.
Well, why would Russia want to bully Ukraine? Well, what's the reason?
I don't know. Doesn't Ukraine have oil or something? I mean,
what? No.
I don't know. Well, they used to be part of Russia, didn't they? I don't know.
Well,
I'm not read through the whole thing, but that's just the way it seems like to me.
Besides, he wants the power.
Like Putin is bullying Ukraine.
No, that's not what's happening.
Well, now, what do you think about this though? If you have any thoughts on this, I know that a while ago, and I think this was around the very beginning of the whole recent issue with Ukraine, but there was conjecture that maybe Vladimir Putin was feeling a bit nostalgic, although that would not be so great, and he wanted to basically reconstitute the USSR, like the old way that it was. What do you think about that?
That's what's been attributed to him a lot, like, oh, Putin thinks. Everybody, think about it. We had not heard from Putin at all since the beginning of the war until Tucker went to Moscow and interviewed Putin. But before that,
really? Oh, wow.
We never heard like Western press was talking only from the Ukraine's perspective, from the Western perspective. Russia is mean, Russia's bad. Like, you never, okay, Putin wants this, Putin thinks that. So Putin never had a chance to say what he thinks or what he wants. People were just saying what he thought.
Until Tucker did that interview. Oh, wow. I didn't realize that it was so late. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a couple of, 24? I think he went to Moscow.
Yeah.
And had an interview and Putin offered his perspective. And he never said that they never had that in plans to invade any other countries or even Ukraine. If Ukraine just kept neutrality, they will be just fine. But US and England and all other countries were pushing Ukraine to NATO because I think the party at fault here essentially is the NATO and former administration.
Yeah.
It's very confusing situation, but the bottom line is that people are exhausted, people keep dying, and they just want peace. I talk to people from there, like they're afraid to take trains because trains get bombed, and even on a Russian side, like civilians suffering because missiles from Ukraine keep coming too, and everybody just wants to be over with this. So hopefully, Trump was able to
I don't know why. I don't know why Ukraine would want. Or the military of Ukraine would want, in this case, I think they're Tomahawk missiles. Like, in other words, so I don't mean to conflate things. A Tomahawk missile is a type of weapon, but it's like I don't know what kind of philosophical or ideological reason Ukraine. It's like why would Ukraine want to decimate Russia? I don't know that they can even do that. Russia.
They can. But Ukraine plays no role in it except for putting its people out there, and having fights in their land. All the control comes from the states and from Brussels, So Ukraine is being used like a battleground. Even Ukrainians, some smart Ukrainians I talk to, they also say that Ukraine does not have much of a say, and because it's so dependent, so that they can't really make any decisions. Because they're so dependent financially. We talked about this a couple of episodes ago that U.S. right now is paying Ukrainian pensions, Ukrainian salaries. So they can't even resist, even if they wanted to end this. They can't do it without the Western countries to tell them so.
That's one thing that makes me really angry, that our lawmakers are giving our tax dollars to pay the pensions of Ukrainians.
Yeah, and that makes them so disingenuous because on paper, it looks like that money goes to Ukraine. Yeah, some of it does, but you know how many pockets have been lined with that money on Ukrainian side and over here? Some of the money never even leaves the United States. It just lands in the pockets of the politicians.
That's why, I mean, again, they say dangerously more isolationist than less. I think that because you know what, it's a completely different type of region and feeling, but I feel like Israel is in the same boat. They seem like they talk a good game too, but it's like, okay, fine. Again, I say we let Ukraine figure it out. Again, let Europeans help the Ukrainians, and in Israel, Israel, they talk a good game. So I don't think to hear them talk, they shouldn't need any help. So it's like, okay, fine, good. We'll save our money, we'll save our people, and we'll save our ammo then.
Yeah, I don't know. We have wars out there, but on our homeland, it's not quite peaceful. You guys see what's happening, like in Portland and especially Portland. I've been following Portland some time, and this weekend, I don't know if you guys heard, but these morons are trying to organize like nationwide protest, no king protest again.
Yeah.
Well, honey, you're just, a couple hundred years late for that. No kings were decided on July 4th, 1776.
1776.
Yes. So kind of late to the party. Yeah, we all agree no kings, but yeah, ridiculous.
Well, okay, so let me say one thing factual and one thing that has its basis in fiction. So I don't know if you guys know, but in 2020 there was a plan drawn up. It's known as the Podesta Plan, and then in like 2022 or 2023 they made a movie called Civil War, which was loosely based on the Podesta Plan. But now what's crazy is that Gavin Newsom is going around saying things from the movie Civil War that is based on the actual factual Podesta Plan.
I never heard of that plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, it's me, Rebecca S. Meadows, the author, with my new book, Living on Borrowed Time, The Ravings of an Angry Survivor of Traumatic Brain Injury and Guardianship Abuse. It's available on Kindle Digital Download, Amazon Print on Demand, and on Audible. Please go check it out. And now, back to the show. Hey guys, are you there?
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All here.
We're all here.
Yeah, I never heard of
did you guys hear Gavin Newsom where he said recently, like, oh yeah, you know, we're forming a Western alliance, you know? That's directly taken from the Podesta plan.
Oh, really?
No, I haven't heard that.
I haven't heard any of this, but
I haven't heard that either.
But I won't be surprised. I mean, you know that I don't know if it's true or not, but it looks like it's true that they're going to run Gavin Newsom's for presidential candidate for Democrats in 2028.
Really?
Well, no way. Are you serious?
Well, again, it's too early to say. We're still in 2025, thank goodness.
Yes.
But there are talks going around like that.
Will the Democrats have a few years to find a more viable candidate than him? Because the next presidential election isn't until 2028.
So that's what I thought.
You don't think they'll try to run Kamala again?
Who knows what they'll try? But they're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel for candidates.
They are. And then, you know, their party has no direction, no leadership, no goals. Like, they're just a bunch of, like, progressive left is just out of this world. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking. They're extremely intolerant and violent and crazy. So I don't even know who they can pick who would please that base and moderate base. I don't know.
Well, do you guys have any thoughts on because I do agree that the shutdown is starting to feel more real. You know, it's starting to have more tangible effects. I mean, I don't actually know all of the particulars, but for people that receive Medicare or Medicaid benefits, I mean, they say those are going to double in what is either December or January, certainly by January of next year.
Really?
Wow. Really?
Yeah. And
you
that's
mean
the
cost
that's
or what?
Huh?
What do you mean? The cost or what would double?
Yeah, the cost for the premiums.
Well, yeah, because
are you saying that the people who get the Medicare or Medicaid that they'll get double?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's exactly true. They are saying that, but again, yeah, the prices will be impacted because what was holding it down was those temporary subsidies that Biden put in place. But it was temporary, so time is running out. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to look like. I haven't actually. Are you guys all on Medicare?
I'm not.
I am.
What about you, Brandon?
Yeah, I am right now.
I am as well.
Yeah, I am too. I'm going to look into it because today is the first day of the open enrollment.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that's right, huh?
Yeah, so I'm going to look into it. I mean, thank goodness I don't have, like, I don't go to doctors very often, and, you know.
I try not to, too.
Yeah.
I've been frustrated with health insurance for so long. I finally got on some new insurance as of November 1st. It's going to be active, and I feel like this is probably going to be the best insurance I've been on in a long time. But I've worked to get my health back, right? So I'm no longer like someone who has pre-existing conditions and stuff.
What kind of insurance, if you don't mind me asking?
It's what is it? Oh my gosh. I don't remember the name of it. I just my insurance person helped me find it though. So
did you just sign up today?
No, like a couple weeks ago. It's going to be effective November 1st. It was this month and here in October, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, but like on you said, I forgot today is the first day of open enrollment.
Oh, good.
So I mean, I'm not really all that worried about it. I mean, I like to hope that the government will reopen, you know, like sooner than later. But that's the whole holdup.
Yeah, well, it will eventually. And then what you should explain to your son too, you know, like, you know, it sounds like they're putting it into their heads out there in school that it's all Republicans' fault and the Republicans want to take away food stamps and blah, blah, blah. But we all know it's not true. And then again, the government keeps being shut down because of Schumer. And the reason is because Republicans are not giving in on these health healthcare for illegals. So I mean, that's pretty straightforward. And if Schumer gets his shit together, then things can go back to relatively normal.
Well, and what's so funny is they say that Chuck Schumer is just playing politics. In other words, he's afraid that if he reopens the government, that he'll lose his position in Congress or something like that. Like, it's just pure politics. It's like,
so it's all about me. It's all about me.
Yeah. And it's like, you're going to keep the whole federal government closed for just yourself. Like, that seems really selfish, Chuck. Really, really selfish.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna. What is it? 2016. I read somewhere the government was shut down for 20 or 30 days or something. I can't remember the number. Don't quote me on that.
35. I think. Yeah, we're still fine. So, yeah.
The American people always survive these government shutdowns. So.
And essentially, it's a theater. You're getting paid by the taxpayers' money. So go do your damn job.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I know. It's like, you guys don't understand compromise. Like, I heard that Republicans went to Democrats and they said, okay. How about this? We'll extend the subsidies for a year. Okay. How about that? Will you sign now? Will you just let us reopen the government? And they were like, no, I'm not signing. No, I'm not doing it. Like, oh my gosh.
I really, really hope the Republicans hold out here, because this could really wind up being good for the American people.
Yeah, nothing is as permanent. Nothing is as permanent as temporary. When they say temporary, it always becomes permanent. Look at DACA, many programs. Oh, just temporary protective status, temporary this, temporary that. And then it just drags on for years and years. So I would not, take that bait. Just okay. Let's extend it for another year or two or something. Yeah, because they can throw the same fit later.
Well, and look. I think even if worse comes to worse, and people's Medicare and Medicaid premiums go up, even if they do that, I'm pretty sure Donald Trump has already anticipated that and has a plan. But again, unless the government is open, it's not a lot can be done.
Well, that's very true.
Because the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the CMS, are a federal agency.
Yeah.
You do need to be open to do something. That's true.
Yeah, well,
Social Security. Has anybody's Social Security been affected by it?
Not yet, thankfully.
I haven't heard it. I don't know what you guys. There was a big talk about a no tax on Social Security. Has it taken effect yet, or?
I think it will, but I think it only applies to seniors. And I know somebody that works for the SSA, and she's furloughed right now, so that's tough. So she's basically working for free right now.
I thought it was for all Social Security recipients. I'm not sure though.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there was two things. No tax on tips and no
taxes on Social Security benefits.
I'm okay with no tax on Social Security, because government gives you money with one hand and chips off with the other. I mean, it's just
they shouldn't tax Social Security, because that's like double taxing it, because that money's already been taxed.
I know. I agree with you.
Yeah, but I do have a problem with a no tax on tips. I really do have a problem with that.
You think they should continue taxing tips?
Yeah. I mean, for years and years, we were told that we have to tip because this is those people's salary. So we were paying their salary. If we don't tip, we punish a person. It's not good. They're relying on this income. Okay, fine. Okay, let's suppose I buy this point. So if this is their income, so why their income is not taxed and mine is?
Well, I see your point.
Yeah,
I do too. But I would argue, though, but their income might not be the same as your income. I mean, I don't know. I think it depends where they work and.
Well, some waiters and waitresses get like hundreds of dollars in tips.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, is that hundreds of dollars per pay period, per week, per shift. You see what I mean?
Well, that depends on the place where you work. I hear that sometimes they share tips, like they put it all together and share, which I don't think it's a best practice. But again, it's done. But it still bothers me. It's still the money you're getting paid. So why not to tax it? Why my total income? I don't make very much, so why should I be paying the tax and you do not?
Well, okay, but because I'm just saying, like, if I make 40K and they make 20K, well, that means I make double what they make. So, and in this economy, I mean, I don't think you could really do much with 20K. I mean, it's
well, yeah, that's why they get tips, and then and if you put it all together, it's going to be a pretty decent amount. And I mean, and again, like, okay, when we say somebody makes 20, somebody makes 40, what if you make 20 and you're a single guy? And what if somebody makes 40 but has like 3 or 4 kids? What's the difference?
That's a good point.
Yeah, so I'm strong advocate for flat tax, period. Flat tax for everybody. When we start going and messing with these formulas, and
so
you
say flat tax, is that a sales tax, or how would it be? How would it be?
Flat tax for everyone. Like, let's say 10%. So
10% of what? Are you talking about 10% of their wages, or 10% sales tax, or
no sales tax, like income tax? Well, actually,
10% income tax for everybody.
Or I'll go even deeper. I would say I would eliminate income tax altogether if it was up to me.
All right.
Okay. So how are we going to run our government without taxes, though?
Well, we can do sales tax.
What?
Wait, and what about property tax? Like if you buy a house, you buy a car. What about that?
Well, see, did you guys hear Florida eliminated property tax?
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
Why don't they have blind people sections at sporting events? Why do I gotta pay the same price to not see shit? Okay? The Jumbotron ain't even built for me.
I am the business manager here at the Visually Impaired School of Arizona.
I see you brought the film crew. Make sure you get my good stuff.
All right, settle down and get focused on your tasks.
I teach the art of cuisine, child.
You wanna know what the problem, the biggest problem in the blind community? It's you sighted people.
Just take a look over here.
Yeah, I don't know where that is, man.
Okay, you all need to turn off those cameras and just leave the building.
Wait, Joe, hold on.
Oh, on your right.
You're on the right.
How would you know that the men you're dating are black?
No, this is not card member services. This is the Visually Impaired School of Arizona.
Gigi, where are his pants?
I don't know.
Billy doesn't work here. He basically came with the building.
I can be the very first mayor of Blind Sylvania.
Make blind America great again.
There goes my pie.
This happens every day?
No,
Sometimes.
of course not.
Who? Government?
Well, us. Too.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, we're back?
We're back.
What? Said to give it a little confab over there. What the heck?
No, we're talking about
Tell us more about it.
Well, we're talking about tax, and somebody asked about the property tax.
Oh,
And,
yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and I also think, I mean, if you bought a house, the government can essentially tax you out of the house. Like, if your house is paid off, and they keep raising and raising property tax, and in my county, that's what's happening. Our commissioners are out of control. Like, the spending that they're doing is through the roof. And there were people who came to their county commission meetings, and they were saying, like, look, I cannot afford the tax that you are placing on my property. I'm gonna have to move out of the county, even though they're property.
That's terrible.
My goodness, that is terrible.
Even people that have their mortgages paid off are complaining. Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like, Florida is going to eliminate their property tax, which is a good idea, I think. I mean, if you bought it, it's yours. If you bought your house, it's yours. You don't have to have a government permission to sit on your porch and smoke a cigar.
You don't have to pay them to let you live there after you buy it.
No. But I see what Becca's saying though. Like I am not in favor of eliminating all taxes. I mean, it sounds great, but you can't do that though. You know, you gotta build bridges and keep up roads.
Yeah, and us disabled people, we use a lot of services like public transportation, you know,
Yes.
and lots of other public services too, and all that's paid for with tax dollars.
Well, you don't you use it for free entirely, or you still pay some? I know it doesn't pay completely. It doesn't pay for itself, but there's some percentage that you pay for your rides still, right?
Well, yeah, but a lot of it is paid for with tax dollars. And
that's true.
And like Savvy Services for the Blind here in Phoenix, where I went to school when I first moved here back in 2015, that is paid for with tax dollars. That's a place where blind people go and they get their blind immersion training.
That's right.
And all of us, I think, know what that is. But that's paid for with tax
I went
dollars.
there myself. Pardon me.
Yeah, I think Lori's probably familiar with Savvy because she lives right here.
Yes.
I think everybody.
I used to work for them, so I definitely know about that.
Oh yeah, Brandon too. But like I've never been one to really complain about taxes because we all utilize the services that are paid for with taxes. But when our lawmakers are using our tax dollars like absorbently and on stuff that doesn't really do anything to help the American people, that's really disturbs me, you know. Like the stuff that the Democrats are wanting to do with our tax dollars for all the illegals and stuff, that's really distressing to me.
Right, so they tax you to death so they can fund some other.
Yeah, they tax us all to death so they can do that.
Yeah.
Well, and not even just tax, but you know, like I've literally heard that like if you're in the hospital for whatever reason and you want Tylenol, it's like $20 to $30 per tablet. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because the healthcare system here is so overburdened by illegal aliens that they charge the people that do pay like way more than that. I mean, there's no way that a tablet of Tylenol costs that much. There's no way.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was arguing with somebody on Facebook. He was saying, well, you know, there is no federal law. Like, according to federal law, you cannot provide health care for illegals only in emergency situation. Okay, well, go to some emergency room in California some nights, especially on the weekends. You know, yes, emergency services, but how does it make it better? You as an American citizen can wait in line to be seen for hours. Because somebody got there before you and they don't look at your status, they take that person. Yeah, I get it, it's emergency, but why are we putting lives of people who are not supposed to be here ahead?
Well, and the problem is, okay, when people say, right, see, because I've heard that argument, they say, no, nobody's calling for healthcare for illegal aliens, except they are, because a couple things are true. They want healthcare for everybody in America. And so that means we know all those people that came across the border that have zero documentation, they want health care for them. And then there's another group of people who manipulated and lied and deceived and were issued improper social security numbers, and they want health care for them, even though they never should have got it because they didn't go through the legitimate steps and authentic steps, you know. So
yeah, there are many loopholes that are being used. Yeah.
And so they say, oh, nobody's calling for healthcare for illegal aliens. Right, nobody is. But what you guys are saying is we want healthcare for everyone in America. You see how they're so subtle? So that means even if you're illegal, it doesn't matter. You're in America, so you get healthcare. No.
Yeah, I still advocate for sales tax, though. I mean, it would capture so much under the table money. You know, people like, you know, drug dealers and yeah, it's a huge percentage, no matter what anybody says. You know, we know the drug problem in the United States exists, and a lot of people get paid cash just for some little jobs, whatever they get. But if you go to the store and you buy things, you know, that money gets taxed because otherwise you're not going to file taxes. A lot of people evade taxes. So it could be, you know, on items like, you know, perfumes, I don't know, cars, if you go buy like $50 or $80,000 car with your cash money or something, it gets taxed very well.
Listen, I'm okay actually if you were to say we're going to keep the income tax and the property tax, but it will. There's different categories, but they're all set at 10%. That's not bad. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, my family, I think we're in the I think 20 or 25 percentile range. I mean, right there. I mean, we would pay like significantly less if our tax rate was 10%. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I know.
It would.
But they would not let it happen because that's how the politicians buy votes.
That's right.
And so I don't know. Interesting situation. Texas have been a trouble.
Well, we might get to see some really interesting things. This crazy cuckoo person out in New York. This is Zoran Mamdani. Oh my God!
Oh yes!
Oh my gosh! If they elect that guy, holy cow!
Well, and they're at the brink of electing him. I mean,
I thought he's like on the brink of winning the Democratic nomination, but they haven't even. When is the actual mayoral election? Is it this November, or is it next year?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure because we are having some elections here in Arizona, so I'm not sure.
I know that Eric Adams dropped out of the race.
Yeah.
So it leaves Crazy Cuomo, who killed a bunch of seniors.
I think the mayoral race in New York City, I think it's going to be next month.
You can ask Alexa.
I think you're right, Becca.
Becca, you can ask Alexa. Ask Alexa.
Unfortunately, none of us really affect the New York race except by our prayers. So
she's suggesting you use your Alexa.
That city that we could call and influence.
But you can ask Alexa when is the race.
Alexa, when is the New York City mayoral race?
On June 24, 2025, Zoran Mamdani, a 33-year-old state assemblyman and Democratic Socialist, declared victory in the Democratic primary for mayor of New York City. The race was officially called for Mamdani a week later, with him winning by a 12-point margin. The general election will be held November 4th.
Okay, yeah, so
okay. So it is this year.
We're about to find out.
So guys, that name, I'm disgusted by that. A Democratic Socialist. Whatever the hell that means. I don't even care. They're literally on the brink of electing a socialist.
Yeah, but look at his name, Zoran Mamdani.
I know, but that's a completely different form of government than we've ever had in this nation. We are not a socialist country.
Well, but he's just being elected ruler of New York City, not the whole country yet.
I know, but
that's where it starts. Yeah.
I've already heard him hinting at the White House.
That's the problem.
He can't. That's another thing. We have specific rules for presidents. You cannot become a president unless you were born in this country. So that automatically disqualifies him.
Where was Zoran Mamdani born?
In Uganda.
Yep, you're right. It does disqualify him.
Yeah, and he became a citizen only in 2018. So my question is, should we even allow people who were born elsewhere and became naturalized citizens? Should they run for offices, like holding positions like that? I don't know. I would think that we should, if we don't allow.
I'm okay if they do, depending on their stances. Because, for example, I kind of like old Vivek Ramaswamy out in Ohio. I kind of like him.
And if you think about it, when our nation was founded, weren't every one of our founding fathers born somewhere else?
Well, they were, but it's been 100 years ago, and that was what they were forming the country. Now the country has been established. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe there are some good candidates and bad candidates. It could be local or not local, But I still think, look at Alhan Omar, Somali representative.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about America. I mean, she's in Congress, but she repeatedly said like her primary loyalty is to Somalia. So why the hell is she representing Minnesota?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But that's a good question.
There's actually a huge Somalian population in Minnesota.
Yeah, because under Obama they were brought there.
That's interesting.
I actually lived in Minnesota before Obama became president, and there were a lot of Somalians there back then too.
Well, you saw
it. Wow.
Now it's like probably tripled or quadrupled since then.
Yeah.
It probably has.
And the more people you bring from different countries, they're not coming here to. Most of them are not coming to assimilate. They're not wanting to become Americans. They want to live by their laws, like Sharia law. I saw somewhere that in Michigan, there is a small town, like very Muslim oriented town, and they started having a prayer for, what do you call it? Call for prayer, like at 5:00 in the morning, and residents started to, like, American residents, like, hey, what the hell? Like, we're still resting. Like, we're in America. We're a Christian nation primarily. Why are we caving into this? So, and then this time they won because the city ordinance states that they cannot do that. But the precedent.
No, and listen, like, especially you ladies, man, look, and I feel this way about fundamentalist Christianity as well. Like, we don't need radical anything. Like, you women think it's bad enough in this country already, right? And I'm not even saying that you're wrong. I'm not really. I don't feel like I should open my mouth a lot about that. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. But I'm saying, there are issues that women say already exist right now. Now, if we were to let Sharia law take over in an entire city, wow. You think it's bad now?
You guys, I actually heard a few years ago that there are actually places here in America where they were trying to put Sharia law in place, and they probably succeeded because there was majority Muslim population in these communities that I had heard about.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're in America, and I would hate it if one of you ladies went there and got imprisoned, or somebody beat the crap out of you because you not wear burqa, not wear burqa.
To be perfectly honest, there are actually a lot of different sects of people living in America who live separate from the general population in America because they come from countries or backgrounds where they live quite differently from us, usually because of religious reasons or whatever. And so there's like growing up in Montana, there was like the Indian reservations around us. There was the Hutterite colonies around us. There were some Amish communities around us.
Yes.
Like that's part of America. You know what I mean? And so it's pretty much the same thing as the Muslim communities you're talking about.
America
there's like Chinatown, and it's like it's always been that way here in America, right? Even though we're all from other countries and we kind of live together, we kind of also, like, some people kind of stick to their own group, right? Like the Chinese people in Chinatown, and you know what I'm talking about, right?
But what laws do they abide by, though? They abide by our Constitution, by our laws. You don't come and establish your own laws and rules like that.
Well, except maybe
actually, on the Indian reservations, a lot of them rule themselves, and on the Hutterite colonies as well, they rule themselves pretty much. Like up in Montana, like the local authorities, they don't go mess around on the Hutterite colonies unless they're invited, like if they're asked to come and help out with some problems they're having.
Right, but if they are in trouble and there is a court, trial, there's trial. So which laws are they going to use in that trial? Like presumption of innocence?
an American courtroom, then they'd use the American laws. But
yeah,
like the Hutterite colony, they have, I'm pretty sure they have their own justice system that in the colony, they deal with their own problems. And if they can't, then it will spill out over outside of the colony into the, into the rest of the state. And then the local officials can get involved. But
that's true.
I don't know how true. I mean, I have to check on that because it doesn't sound too accurate to me. You can't live in the same country and have entirely different justice system.
Well, and listen. All I'm saying is, see, I mean, I think that really smacks of tribalism. And so you guys might think it's funny that I question tribalism because I did just say earlier I'm more isolationist than less. So, but here's the thing. Here's how I'll reconcile and harmonize it. I am more isolationist than less, but I think we just would have to be careful though, right? Because again, I used the word radical earlier, right? And so there are some radical Black people. Yeah, I said it. Not sorry. There are some radical Black people, and if the wrong white person goes in there, they'd probably kill him. That's not okay. There are some radical white people, and if a Black person went in there, they might get killed. That's also not okay. So I think we would need to be very, very careful. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not sure if that's the way we should go. Like tribalism like that. But if we were to do it, I mean, I just would hope that there could be like hall passes, like the Amish, for example. I know they call people like me English, right? Because I'm not Amish. But it's like, listen, I'm English. Here's my pass. Let me just pass through. I have to go through here to get to my house. I want nothing to do with you guys. I'm not going to mess with you. Please don't kill me or put me in prison or,
Yeah, well, still back to the justice system. I mean, I work with a lot of Russian community, and in Brighton Beach in New York, like there's a huge population of former Soviet Union people, from those countries. But guess what? They do abide by the law. Like I interpret some cases like family disputes and, custody care situations and many, many things. So they don't go by their own internal laws or whatever. They just go by American laws. Like you go to court and you with the
So, and that's what they've decided. They don't even try to set up their own community.
Well, they do have their own community, but they are in America. They're not in Russia or, I don't know, Uzbekistan or Belarus or whatever.
Oh man, those see those places seem like, and I guess you're saying legally, whereas I'm going to just jag really quick over into like culturally, they seem really, really different. But you're saying legally,
though, yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah, legally,
they adhere just to American law, huh?
Well, yeah, of course, because they live in America, they have to. I mean, what kind of how our justice system would look like if every
I know. Yeah, but like to what Becca was saying, I think there are some people. I'm not exactly one of them.
They try to keep their own customs as much as they can, and that's why they try to separate themselves from people. Like when I lived in Montana, at one point I was in the hospital in Great Falls when I was 16, right? And while I was there, I met this young man named Sam, who was about the same age as I was. He was in the ICU because he had tried to kill himself because he had ran away from the Hutterite colony because he wanted to go on and further his education. But at that point, he was like 15 or 16 or something, and they don't let their kids go to high school beyond a certain age. And he wanted to continue his education, so he ran away from the Hutterite colony. And they dragged him back, and he tried to kill himself, and that's how he wound up in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And so that's the kind of, I mean, they may not legally be able to do it, but they do it to their offspring. I mean, they're raising them in the colony, and the outside, the American authorities don't really go in and cause problems unless there's an issue that they hear about,
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, but the talk that we had a while back about what was the community? Haitian community. They were saying like, the famous Trump's statement, they're eating the dogs or cats or whatever, and people were laughing about it. Ha ha ha! That's not true. But I mean, in their own country, they do it. So they were trying to do this. People have on camera, like they were trying to capture geese from the lake, from the pond in the city, and yeah, they do eat those animals like that. They don't know we don't allow this. So yeah, it's our land, so we can set the rules. We don't eat dogs here. Sorry, it doesn't matter.
Like going to India and trying to eat a cow, and in India, cows are sacred.
Exactly.
They are. Yes, you're right.
And so these people are coming here and they're eating what they're used to eating in their country, but here it's taboo.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Like monks came here. I read a book about them, like in the 80s or so. I mean, they would cut a pig in their apartment, or pig probably wouldn't fit. I don't know if I said pig, but chickens, like they would kill the chicken, behead the chicken in an apartment in a bathtub. Yeah, so they didn't used to, modern civilization life, and for them it was normal. So like, hey guys, we need to cut it out.
Yeah, but I kind of think even like at a very, very basic level, it's like we culturally consider it rude. Like if any of us went to someone else's house on this, in this discussion, it's like if I went to any of y'all's house and I said, oh well, we just throw the dishes in the sink and just do them all in the dishwasher later. If you guys don't have that policy, it's not right for me to just come in and be disrespectful like that, so I don't know. We kind of think that's rude to just think like, oh well, this is how I do it where I'm from, so screw you. And it's like okay, I'm not gonna invite you back.
Yeah, I had almost we were actually out of time, but I'll say very quick. I had a boyfriend back in the day, American boyfriend, and in my culture, like we do not allow walking in the shoes in the house. Like you're supposed to take off the shoes. I don't do it anymore because I'm Americanized. And we often had fights. Like, I was like, take off your damn shoes. Like, well, why do I have to take shoes? Because there's carpet.
I don't either, by the way.
You don't what?
What?
I don't wear shoes in the house.
Yeah, but my policy was like, if you walked outside in the shoes, you have to take them off at the door. That's how I grew up.
Yes, that was my grandmother's policy.
Yeah,
But I think that was beautiful though, Lori. See, because you just bridged cultural divides that easily.
Exactly.
Because aren't you an American, Lori? Like born and raised here in America? Yeah. See.
Yeah. My grandma wanted to keep the carpet clean, so that was the way she did it.
Even Anya was not born and raised here. See, but it's that easy to find common ground.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please join us again next week for another exciting episode of The Blind View.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Betcha's World. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.